All right, let's go back. Let's do some work here. So I have a domain controller and a server. The domain controller is already set up. We want to domain join this server, and this is the prereqs for here. What we want to accomplish today. Let's join this Windows server to that domain controller, hosted on Azure. It's very straightforward, but we got to get all the parts straight, especially the networking side and the DNS. You have to make sure those are configured correctly because they won't connect. They won't talk. So here is a simple lab for tonight. Let's go ahead and accomplish it. Make sure we're doing it right. So the first thing, let's start off with domain controller on the VM is running on Azure and make sure it has Active Directory. So let's go back to Active Directory. So I already have this one open. I already have the domain controller, and it's already a domain. This is my domain, aztechbuzz.org. So let's make sure. Let's do three things. Let's make sure Active Directory is there. It's right here. I already installed the role, but I'm confirming it here on the video. All right, so we know we have it here. There's no computers joined yet. That only the domain controller always gets joined. Let's make sure it has an IP. Well, we're gonna make sure the IP it's gonna be on the portal side, on the Azure portal. Right here, we don't check. We can check right here. I already said it, but you set it on the Azure portal. You don't do anything on the VM here. So let's just double check. Let's go through all the points. So we did domain controller and it's running. The Active Directory is installed. Let's check static IP. Once we do that, I'll also check the DNS just to confirm the server. And then once we do that, we're gonna go to the server that we want to join. And these 3 points right here are very important. These last 3 bullets are the main thing we have to make sure before we join something together. So let's go ahead and let's open up. Why is it slow? It's running pretty slow today. Let's go back to let me refresh this page. It's probably my internet, but it's okay. I know it's pretty fast. So let's go into our domain controller that's already set up. AZDC2. This acronym should not be correct. It's not correct, but this is the lab. I corrected the other one. So let's go ahead and let's go into the network settings. Well, suddenly got slow, but it could be my network here. There is a storm over here in the East Coast, so that's what it is. Let's go into the network interface. And this is all the servers and the VMs and this is the same way. So here is my IP. It's already a static IP. Subnet is on a 172.17.0.0 static IP, and leave it like that because I already saved it. Let's check the DNS. The DNS needs to point back to its own self. So my server here, since this is the first domain controller, I'm pointing it back to itself. And then the NSG, ADC, I don't have no rule set, but so those are the 3 configurations that's done already. But we're gonna do these configurations. We're gonna make sure that these configs are done on the server we want to join to the domain, to that fresh DC. So this is the one. This is the server that I just spin. NC. This is the region. Proxy server, and this a proc. So this is the correct standard name you can mention. So this server, let's go into the network settings, the NIC card. We have to make sure that this server is on the same VNet, same subnet, and it has static IP and it's pointing back to this domain controller. Otherwise, it's not gonna talk, or you're gonna have to do peering and that's a different topic. It's very complicated on that side. So let's go check. So we know it's a static IP. We know it's on the same VNet. We're going to check the VNet like West 2.2. The subnet, you can see it already. 172.17.1.0. Static IP. So now DNS. Let's check the DNS. Make sure it's pointing back to 172.17.0.4. That's the domain controller. So all those settings are correct. I already said it before I started the video anyhow. That way I can hurry up and. There's one more thing that we need to go over. Let me go back into here so I can show you guys. So we validated all this VNet, the DNS configurations, all domain joins, of course the DNet subnet. This is the most important thing right here. I must have forgotten to put it on subnet VNet. Okay, that's okay. This document I'm gonna add to it and then add it to the video. But this is what it needs to be on the same DNS as. I'll show you. We need to customize the DNS to point to not to have an Azure DNS or have the DNS point to that domain controller. Otherwise, they're not going to talk to each other. That's another very important thing. Okay, so let's go see the VNet. Here's a VNet right here. No, is this one 210? So these are two different subnets. Let's go make sure we're going to go look into. This is what I'm talking about, the subnet, but we're going to go into the DNS server. I already said it, but I forgot to mention it because this is the last important part of the puzzle. If you don't get all these straight down the line, you're not going to communicate. You're not going to be able to join no domain, no server to the domain, or computers or anything you want to join. So once you have these three sets, then you can start building your lab. This is my third lab here on Azure. I use student accounts, but this is the only way we can practice. You can't get your hands on the real Azure portals. So this is taking a little bit long. Let's give it another minute. If it takes long, I think something's going on with Microsoft. There shouldn't be that slow. Oh, that's probably my system, my network in here. Okay, I'm gonna refresh because it's taking too long. If it takes long, I don't want to pause the video, but I can I can crop that little section of. But this is the last important part before I jump in the server and I join it. Okay, we're back into the VNet. Okay, here the DNS server. There it goes. So you see, so normally before you change the settings, it defaults like this. Azure provides. Now, if you have the Azure providing the DNS, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to join no computers. You'll have issues. So you have to go in here, DNS, customize, and add your domain controller right here. Once it's set, then you power on your. So this was powered on, my domain controller. I'm going to go ahead and fire up the newly fresh installed proxy that I'm going to be running. And so let's go ahead and we're trying to keep this video under 10 minutes. It's going on 10 minutes. So I'll extend it to 15. But so let's power it on. Let's log into it. I already know the IP. So the everything is set on the portal side. You don't need to add nothing on the server side. That there's nothing there to install to add. So once it's done, so what I'm gonna do is just really quick. I like to check my work. Yep, you see this? So we know that it's pinging, so that's a communication handshake right there. Let's log in. Now this I'm not going to promote to a domain controller. It's going to stay as a server. It's going to be a proxy server, but it needs to be a joint domain server. So my domain is az.techbuzz.org. Okay, I spelled it wrong. ORG. There you go. See that? Nice. So then I want to see if I don't need the domain in front of it. Let's see if that works. No, I need it. Okay, that's fine. I knew I needed it. Just didn't want to put the whole thing. Okay, the username and password is incorrect. So, just to be on the safe side, let's do this. Let's open up the other server. It's right behind it. Just to make sure I'm putting in the right name. See, so it's probably gonna want the whole thing. Okay, let's go. Let's go back into the server. techbuzz.org. Let's see. Admin is. It's just a long. The name is too long. I should have shortened it out. I always say that, but at the end of the day, I don't. Okay. All right. I had to spell the whole thing. That's fine. It took me like almost a minute to join it, but it normally. So of course, everybody knows you got to reboot the server afterwards. All right. So now let me go back into the domain controller. So here, once it boots up again. There you go. It's right there. Look. It already booted up. It already recognized that server right there. Okay, so now, and this is the whole process. That's it. And then once you start joining, once you start joining your computers or your servers, they're all going to fall depending on what OU policies you have open. That's it. Hopefully you guys learn from this.